Oh, what is that buzzing? It's my
Oh, yeah,
fucking thing again.
I'm getting buzzing too.
Oh, yeah.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yep.
change. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, team. We went live and then realised there's buzzing in
Just
our
unplug
headphones.
it. Just unplug it, Sam. I
Do
can
you
probably
need
cope.
something?
No, I can probably cope.
Must be this brick.
Oh, it's not that.
That did not.
No.
Is it just the physical? No, it's not the physical cord.
Is it my headphones, maybe?
There we go. I reckon it was that sitting against that.
Plug me back in then.
Yep.
Oh,
What? No.
Oh, yeah, it's still there a bit.
Hang on.
Ben, can you just make sure that's on? There we go. That was it.
Huzzah!
It was the trend. It was that sitting on the blue one, which isn't very well shielded. All right,
that
don't
over.
worry, guys. It's still us, as you
Hello.
can
Hi.
tell. Nothing's changed.
Except Dan's not here, that's all.
Yeah, but yeah, that's true. Well, Ben's been missing for ages, so it's just we swapped Dan for Ben.
Wait. Ooh, what's this? What's XP?
Yeah, I saw that in the chat on YouTube.
The fuck does that mean?
Are people seeing that?
What's this XP thing? Oh, is this like how many comments you make or something?
It's the audio quality we know and love. Get out of here, Nathan.
Excuse me, we're no Crowcast, okay? At least we're all functioning.
I love it.
Oh,
All right.
Vardy's garden's a mess. Ben,
it?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Vardy might need some tips.
Put your questions in the chat, Vardy, and we'll get Ben to have a look at them. He can't see the chat.
You can come on if you like, and we can talk all things garden. I'm up
Oh
for
yeah,
that.
yep, true.
Actually, I might need some tips.
Yep.
All right, we're gonna go.
Let's do it.
Did you remember it, or did you?
Literally just then. I was like, silence. Welcome back to Here We Crow. We're back after a nice bye week and a bit of a break.
God, I'm so glad we decided to take that week off.
Yeah, we really needed it. I think. I think we feel good. We feel good now.
I feel pretty happy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Welcome,
Refreshed.
Sam.
Nice to see you, Lauren.
You too, and welcome back, Kate.
Thank you. Hi, Lauren.
And welcome, Ben.
Thanks, Lauren.
Ben's
Dan-
back.
Ben is back.
He said it's been a month.
Has it?
Yeah.
I only missed one. It's not as if you guys are bloody,
It does feel like it's been quite a while.
Yeah.
And Dan is absent. He is in Sydney again.
Yes,
he's
he
having,
is.
he's having a shit time though because the weather sucks.
Yeah. Well, just before we go any longer, I just need to say hello to my niece Violet, who's watching tonight with my parents.
Oh, hey, Violet.
Mum said I had to get in early before Lauren starts swearing too much. So.
just wondering why you weren't your normal potty mouth that you.
I have to start practicing not swearing for my new job.
Oh, do you? Oh, yeah. That's fair. Yeah, well, congratulations publicly on that too.
Yeah, thanks.
Lauren.
I've got a new job, everyone, so I'm pretty stoked. I'm very happy. I'm going to be rich. I can't say any more than that.
No more coffees. No more buys to coffee. It's not needed anymore.
That's right. I'll
Lauren's
be
gonna
shouting the
bankroll
beers
us.
every week.
Excellent. That sounds great.
Is this podcast now sponsored by Lauren?
Maybe.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Welcome to episode 125. Holy hell. We're a quarter of a century old. Well, actually, we're past the century.
Yeah, we're
a
well
quarter of
past
a 10 times century.
Yeah. Maybe.
I don't know what
No.
to cut to because Ben's quiz is dead.
I know.
He's
got stats,
more
he
to the
reckons.
segment than just the quiz.
Oh, right. Okay. You've got some stats. Well, that's good. Well, before we get to that, we will be discussing the Tigers game win at the MCG. A very solid win. Fantastic breakout game from newly contracted Dan Curtin. We'll be definitely getting into that. And just some other stuff. We've got a dog act, obviously. I think everyone's been waiting for
Yeah.
the dog act. And Sam's segment's back and Kate has a Serenity Now, even though we're in quite a good mood.
Yes.
But Kate is going to calm us down, which I can't wait to hear. Ben, lay the stats on us.
Stinger.
Oh, no.
Oh, God,
Which one-
Sam.
is it on here?
Come on. Yeah, it's on there.
Which one
Pretty
is it?
sure we put it on there.
Oh, no.
If only we'd had more time to prepare.
Yeah, I know. I've literally been here for hours.
You've been here for like the whole day.
Yeah. Oh, my God. I don't know where it is. Ben, you just kick
That's
it off.
all right.
mate.
Okay,
Anyone
very
want a
good.
scat?
Here's the stats, man.
So, episode 125 started off obviously with debut player number 125. None other than Graham Stiffy Doncock.
Ooh, legend.
Where's the picture? The frame picture, that's at your place, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I need to bring that
Someone's
back
got a
in.
framed picture.
Yeah. I found it at an op shop.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it's not signed or
It
anything.
used to be on the wall
It's
at
a bit of a weird one.
used to be on the wall at the old studio, so
Yeah, it
maybe
did.
we can take the evacuation diagram down maybe.
Oh, yeah. We don't need that.
So 227 games for the club between 2001 2013. We picked him up with pick 67 in the 2000 draft. So
Wow.
what a steal. Possibly our best ever high draft pick or low draft pick, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. He was our leading goal kicker in 2003 with 30 goals before moving more into a small defender role, so which he was more known for as he went on. He was third in our best and fairest in both 2006 and 2011, and he made the bench in our best 22 when we had our 30-year celebrations of the club. So, yeah,
Awesome.
pretty fancy debut player post-football. So he moved pretty much straight back to Port Lincoln post-retirement. Worked as of 2022, that's as recent as I could find, he's working for the Education Department, helping with Aboriginal families, students and communities. He's also become the president of the Mallee Park Football Club in Port Lincoln,
Yep.
taking over from his father.
Aw.
And in 2024, kicked 100 goals in B grade.
Yes.
So
We
last
remember
year.
that video footage of the 100th goal, yep.
And recently he was involved in the designing of this year's Indigenous Guernsey.
Which
So-
I absolutely love.
Yeah,
I think
it's a
it's
cracker.
fantastic.
So if we could just have a few more debuts like this that were nice and easy to research, that would be fantastic.
If only.
Non-controversial as well.
So now, as you're aware from last time, we don't have a quiz. I'm not going to ask you about 2025 questions.
That's a shame.
But
we
I've
could
still-
do like a little pop quiz for 2025.
We could, but I've prepared nothing. So not tonight.
Fine.
I still got some rando 125 stats though.
Cool.
So
Oh, yeah?
125 is our highest ever losing score.
Oh, great.
So
That's
unfortunately,
a great one, Ben.
unfortunately, when we played North in round 9 2000, they scored 128.
Oh,
So
God.
beat us by 3. Brodie Smith, he's had 125 frees for, 159 against, as opposed to Rod Jamieson, who's had 125 frees against, but 194 for.
Oh,
So
nice.
they had the opposite. I guess it's because Jamieson was a bit more of a forward as well as a backman. But,
Yeah.
But yes. And Jake Lever, we're probably playing him this week.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he got dropped
He got
last week,
dropped.
so
Oh,
maybe
he-
not.
Oh, he's coming back. Petty's out concussed. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
So for us, he had 125 clangers.
Yeah,
There
sounds
you
about
go.
right.
And that's my short, sharp, shiny stats segment now.
It's already
Fantastic,
over.
Ben.
It's already over,
so
Sam.
quick.
Well, do you
Sam
want me
doesn't
to-
know what to do now.
Okay, 2025, we're going to recruit Dyson Sharp. We'll get him somehow.
That's going to be hard.
Yep.
It's going to be Ben Stradamus now
Yep,
from here
that's
on.
Right. The
predicting.
AFLW Premiership was fun.
Yeah. Well, hey, we might be up there this year. Doc Clark's final year as
Yeah.
coach, so the girls
Send
will be
him out on a
hungry.
high, yep.
That's true.
Big re-signing today.
Yes, Shelbo extended for 2 more years.
So good.
Great news. We love Shelbo.
Yep.
And yeah, can't wait for that season to start. It's going to be nice for hopefully the girls to be doing well with the boys
Well,
alongside
how
them.
about that? We've got both teams to watch for a while. So
Yeah.
Wow.
Probably,
Hopefully.
if all goes to plan.
Yes, if all goes to plan. All right, well, let's get on to the Richmond game then. in case you're wondering, no, we are not. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I forgot about the fart. In case you're wondering, we are not going to broach the Hawks game.
No, I've forgotten about it.
I didn't even watch it. Like, I was out. So
that's right.
I actually don't have anything to say about it.
No, it was
except that it looked annoying.
Yeah, it was very
It
annoying.
was.
In fact, one thing I will say about it is I recommend not watching games like that where it could be close and could be shit. I tell you what, I felt pretty good that weekend.
Yeah.
It just seemed like an advertisement for this is why we want to have a roof.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that is the conspiracy.
Yes.
But we had a week off and then we came back to the MCG to play our hoodoo team at the MCG Richmond, and we have made up for the last 10 years of playing Richmond at the MCG.
Oh, I don't know if we can say that.
Probably take a
gone
win
a ways.
in. Take a win in 17 over a win this.
Yeah.
Again, another game I'm refusing to acknowledge. But we did play very well against a struggling Richmond, who have looked okay in some games, but they could not take us, unfortunately. Give us your thoughts on the game, Kate.
I was nervous. I'm still carrying a bit of the PTSD from former years.
You need to relax.
I know, I'm getting there. I must say I'm getting there because I'm learning. But
You're not alone. I think there's a few fans out there who were saying this is a danger game coming off the bye, and I say to you, have you been watching us? Come on, we're not that bad.
Yeah, well, that's it. I think it's that combo of coming off the bye and playing away against a team that we, quote unquote, should beat that made me a little more nervous. But I loved that we were switched on just from the get-go.
Yeah.
Clearly we came in with the right headset and, I thought that was a big positive straight away. It was the inaccurate kicking still that we needed to work on there, but obviously in this game we had our many other chances to rectify that, which was, good.
It did have shades of the Hawthorn game we're not going to mention in
Yes.
that first quarter where it was a bit scrappy.
Yeah.
Weren't making the most of our opportunities. We had the ball in our half for a lot, but we really struggled to score. But, luckily.
We just didn't let them score.
No.
Bit of a dusting off the cobwebs from the bye, I think. Maybe.
We got there. I mean, we're able to maintain the territory and for the whole game. So we're able
Yeah.
to make the most of it eventually. It's just, at the start, I didn't feel comfortable at quarter time.
I was
Yeah.
pretty annoyed by some things that were happening. Tex was annoying me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so was Isaac Rankin
Some
for
of
a
his
lot of the game.
disposal wasn't working out great.
No.
It wasn't
Tex
great.
made a ton of mistakes in that first half. It
Yeah.
was, very, maybe becoming a little bit more reminiscent, but let's hope that doesn't continue.
He got there in the end, but
Yeah.
it was one of those frustrating quarters, and you're a bit like, oh god, just get on with it. But they did get on with it.
We kept trying to be too cute with it in that first quarter, and
Yeah.
it really showed.
Yeah, I think. Oh, sorry, no, you go. Snap.
I think every time we see that, it's happening for less time. So I do feel like we're making progress with it. We still do get into those phases and wrong time, wrong team, that's going to really hurt us. But I do feel like we wrestle it back quicker each time. So
Yeah.
I think we're heading in the right direction with it, but definitely something to work on.
Yeah, and I think the positive for me is that when we're not playing as well as we could, it's that we're not effectively scoring. We're generally holding up pretty well defensively the whole time.
Yeah,
so
that's
we're,
right.
We're not, at the moment, we're not letting through a barrage of goals going against us. It's just that we're not looking as efficient or looking as good going forwards.
It's
So-
quite frustrating when we have such a potent forward line when it's not really working out. And speaking of forward lines, there was a mysterious man in our forward line this week, and that man was Max Michaelani.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
I was like, I didn't know what was happening because obviously no one knew about that before we went into the game. That was not mentioned prior to the game by anyone. And I was like, what the hell's he doing up there?
I just want to know how much money his mates made on first goal.
Maybe a little bit. But genius move by Nixie and Max, apparently. It was a collaborative effort.
Yes.
Yeah, it was hard to tell from Nix's conference whether it was Max saying it in general or specifically for this game. But yeah,
I watched Max's presser during the weeks. He did front up to the media on Tuesday. And he said, he said that it was Nixie's idea for that game.
Yeah.
But they had been talking about him going forward in previous weeks.
As an experience sort of a thing.
That's right. And I think obviously that was the the perfect game for him to try that.
Look,
and
I'm going to say it was even more successful than Pedler taking down Tom Stewart.
Wow.
yeah, I think
Yes.
Slightly.
a lot better. Yeah, went very well. And kicked 3 snags. He's only ever kicked 1 goal in his whole
Yeah.
career, and he doubled that.
And he
plus more.
nullified Vlauston from doing
Yeah.
anything useful.
He looked a lot more comfortable kicking for goal than a few of our more permanent forwards as well, which was nice.
Very
Yeah.
sweet kick.
Not
very
talking
straight.
about the big three, but yeah.
And obviously that just frees up a bit of space in the back line for someone like Brodie Smith or perhaps eventually Charlie Edwards to come in
Yeah,
if that
right,
ever
Lauren.
happens.
Dream on.
Well, if Brodie might do a hammy and Charlie's in, so,
maybe.
Oh,
Can I? Sorry, just while we're on Michael Annie, I just want to mention Vardy brings up a very good point here, and I should have put it in my bads about Nick Rewalt's calling him McElhaney, and he still,
McElhaney.
and he still did it on that Agenda Setters too. That little clip. That
It's
got,
funny when it's like you hear the name properly. Why can't you just go with that?
Yeah.
It's okay if you've said it wrong 100 times before.
Yeah.
Once you hear it the right way, just say it that way.
Yeah, you would think
It's very
so.
weird.
Yeah.
The other thing I think that was a bonus out of having Max up the front was the impact it had on the team morale. Like it really, especially obviously he got on the scoreboard first as well, but I just could see just that extra kind of energy that gave the team as a whole. And that is, especially for those away games, something that they really need. So, not only was that a good strategic move, but I think, because it was working and he's obviously a very loved young guy,
Yes.
it really lifted the team to see him doing that.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Kate, actually, because I was watching First Crack and Lee Montagna actually showed some vision of Josh Worrell spoiling the ball in the Richmond forward 50, and he pointed out the celebrations of the other players just behind the play. They were celebrating all those small things, and he kind of pointed out that we are such a cohesive and united group right now that is definitely going to hold good for us in the finals.
That's something I've noticed all year, actually,
Yeah.
and it's something I keep forgetting to bring up, but I've been thinking what a great idea, because it's not just the forwards who need celebrating for their efforts, but I heard Smithers, maybe it was his Triple M interview after the game, saying that part of the reason they're doing that, whether they're playing home or away, is to get into that habit so that they're bringing some of the energy that for the team that might not be there at away games. It's obviously a strategy they're using to try lift the team a bit more when the supporters aren't there to help them with that.
But to be honest, I thought there's probably more Crows supporters at this game than Richmond supporters.
Where was that Tiger?
Especially after half time.
Where was that Tiger Army?
Tiger Army has been decimated.
There were
The Tiger Army are just bandwagoners.
There were
I think.
more Tiger supporters in the bay next to me at the grand final than there were at that whole ground on the weekend. 100%.
23,000. Even like we've had some very bad years, and we're still getting the 30s, high 30s to 40s in the worst of our times. So they talk about the big crowds that come out for them, but they really do drop off quickly.
Yeah.
Young Bean was at the game and said, pretty good Crows crowd at the G, I can confirm.
Oh, awesome.
So we do have a good turnout there.
With Michael Annie and Curtin performing like they are, have we got 2 potential 10-goal Tommy Lynch replacements?
Oh, gee, we might do. I love this Max Marcolani being more of a utility player. I really am into this because I think he is more than a defender.
Yeah.
He's a fantastic defender. Don't get me wrong, and I love
but
him
he's
down
almost
there.
too skillful to be a full-time defender.
Yeah, and just having that kind of weapon in the team is so precious. And can we talk more about Dan Curtin? Because holy shit.
Can we?
Obviously signed a 3-year extension, which we all thought was going to be 2 years. So having the extra year on top of that was fantastic. And really glad to hear how happy he is here. And, he obviously has a great core group of friends within the team. Those boys, Joshua Shelley, Saligo, Nank, Riley Philthorpe, they're really looking after him, and that's just that's so heartwarming for me. I really love that. And I'm just like, holy shit, Crow for life, I reckon.
Yeah,
I can't
maybe.
see him going home.
Yeah, well, Croaky just mentioned in the chat, Curtin has a much higher ceiling than the good Tom Lynch, and I absolutely agree with you. I think I'd love to see Curtin play that type of role that Tom Lynch played there when we were good. Just that sort of connector. He's obviously got such a good kick on him, can go forward and kick goals if he needs to, which he kind of played on the weekend. But we've obviously, see him getting 25 disposals rather than 15 like he was in previous
and
weeks.
has the tank where he's covering the most distance on the
Yeah.
ground. So
Well, how often did you see him even in the last sort of 2 months, you see him in the goal square at one end,
Yeah.
and then see him in the goal square at the other end.
Yes.
So he was just working that wing
Yeah.
relentlessly. So
Someone who can work as a midfielder but also be a contested mark is
Yeah.
quite something.
And his ability to weave through the traffic is just like phenomenal.
he's gaining confidence now, isn't he?
Oh,
Yeah.
huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it was almost like that contract extension really let him open up and just go, yeah, well, I'm going for this.
It was like the opposite of the normal contract
Like
games.
a Riley O'Brien.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. He plays better after he's done one.
And I remember too, I was just shooting to my mum's house to watch it with her, so I had the pre-game on 5AA on, and they were trying to guess who would fill in for down forward, and they were saying Curtin. They were like, we think maybe Curtin will go down there. So obviously it was Max, but he's another one who can fill gaps around the ground as well if there's holes. So we need a different look.
And we're forgetting a captain who fills every single hole.
Yeah,
a lot
exactly.
Of games. So we've got a lot of versatility with quality players.
Yeah, it's funny how, this Curtin, like what position is he going to play thing has been ongoing for some time, and we chucked him on the wing and everyone was like, oh, the wing, like, but geez, that's worked out perfectly, hasn't it? It's just really allowed him to he's freed up.
grow.
He can go anywhere. He can be at any point. And he is like Dawson equivalent for sure, like plug and play, which is very good news for the Crows.
And I think it probably shows that he was probably hampered a lot last year with that knee issue that he had at the start of the season. I think we're seeing he's obviously covering the ground really well this year, and from that, he's really flourished. So there was a lot of criticism about how we handled him last year, but there was probably more to the story in terms of his body not being right, in terms of playing more games or playing more game time.
Chris Mills said in the chat, do you think it hurt Key's game a bit having Max playing defensive forward? Thought he looked a bit lost.
I think
Yeah.
that's like Keys is one of those operators that like he was all over the ground too. Like he was up forward and in the defence as well. So if Keys has a quiet game because Max is having a loud one, I don't mind that at all.
Absolutely.
I can't remember seeing him, to be honest. How much of the ball
Not
did
as
he
much
have?
as normal.
Not a lot.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. He definitely, it was a quieter game.
He was still amongst it though, and
Yeah.
he does like provide that forward pressure too. So,
He missed a shot, like he kicked a point. I think someone dished it off to him
yeah.
at some point. Yeah,
but you could probably say the same for like someone like Alex Neil-Bullen, who he's been pretty quiet for the last few weeks.
Coming as well.
Solly had a quieter game too. I thought, like did some good things. Nothing,
Yeah.
no bad game at all, but just not as dominant as maybe the game we're not talking about.
I don't even know if that was like that's nothing to do with him. I think like I noticed that he was like pretty free and like had a didn't really have a defender on him too often, but the way that the play was moving, he just kind of got passed over and it didn't really matter too much.
That was the point he was there. And
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
I don't know. It's it was a good game. We looked really good, I thought, and I know it's only Richmond, but if we can execute games like that, that just builds the confidence of the entire group.
It was better than Collingwood playing only West Coast and struggling for a half,
True.
and then finally getting the win. So
And that was at
Yep.
home for
it
Collingwood too.
was. So there you go. Quick couple of stats.
Let's go.
So the game style was a lot more of that open, considered sort of kicking game, which is often a sign that the opposition is letting us play the way we want to play. So
They certainly did.
74 and a bit percent
Pizzozels?
doing what you're supposed to with your kicks and handballs.
Bit more talking efficiency from you, Ben, if you could.
Heavy on the clangers tonight. Marks wise, we were 127 to 68, so we really did kick and mark a lot.
Yep.
That was very much like a Brisbane last year sort of a game. 17 to 7 of those marks inside 50. Our efficiency inside 50 was 57.6, but I reckon that would have climbed steadily in the second half compared to the first half.
Yeah.
And we convincingly won both contested and uncontested possession. So it's pretty solid effort all around.
Yeah,
Another-
Richmond are a bit shit. Let's be honest.
They were a bit of a mess.
They allowed us to play our game, and how many times did we see the ball go from one end to the other, and it was like, wow, are we this good? And it's sort of like, oh, yeah.
Probably more importantly,
Yeah, we're pretty good.
we made it really, really hard for them to get the ball from their defensive 50 out. Like we kept it in there a lot. So I think that's probably.
I'm not discounting what we did. I'm just saying, Richmond are a pretty pathetic team.
We were very disciplined with our defensive structures, I thought. So because Richmond have done a bit of run and gun and everyone praises them. You know, the new draft crop, they're going to be bigger than Ben-Hur before you know it, sort of thing. But we were able to quell any enthusiasm.
They do have some good players. It's just going to take them a bit of time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's been many games this year where it has not looked like, you know, the ladder differential between the teams when if that makes sense. Like this did look like 4v17 a lot of the time,
Yeah.
and I think in a lot of not at just our games, other games, it's really, you know, it's been less distinct than that. So it is sort of what you'd want to see.
I think despite a bit of a dodgy start from us, we didn't really give them a sniff, which I think is what really gets them going.
Yes.
Against some of those teams, some of those games they've won. I think once they get up and about, they're full of young guys who are just going to be led by that.
Yeah.
And we just didn't let it happen.
No.
Which is,
They did get
credit.
they did get some inside 50s that we just chipped off. Like
Yeah.
our defensive unit is like so solid. Makes me very pleased.
I think it was another positive is we played strongly at the MCG again. So
That's
that,
right,
that ground
yes.
does seem to suit how we play.
Yes, it does.
Are we going to talk about he who shall not be named
Yes.
now and potential?
Well, yes, it's the big
Let's.
story of the week, isn't it? Tom Lynch, what are you doing, mate? Look, that, you know, we all know that he's a bit of a grub and not really known for being a good sportsman. The good sportsmanship. He's not really known for that. But, like, this was next level. He was obviously
Absolutely.
very frustrated. He didn't get a disposal in the first half.
No.
Half time, negative 15 fantasy points.
Ouch. And, you know, I understandably frustrated, but he was doing shit all day that was just really off. And I think the first one I noticed was the studs to the face of Josh Worrell, who was on the ground.
Well, that was after, whenever he's not going to make a marking contest, he makes sure that he's going to hurt whoever's in front of him. So he'll go with a knee, he'll go with an elbow.
Yeah.
He's big enough to make it look clumsy that he's not meaning it, but he
Yeah.
has a history of definitely meaning to hurt as many people as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think on the rewatch I noticed that very early in the game before he, I would say, had the chance to be frustrated, there was already a fair bit of that going on, and so you can't.
Yeah, he dived into Worrell's back early, within the first 5 minutes.
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's right.
And I don't mean to big note, but I actually went off on this couple of minute rant about him to my dad when I was watching the game, saying how much of a grub he is, and this was before. all of
Yes,
that.
exactly.
It's like I can't stand him.
Well, like I
Yeah.
was saying earlier, I was watching the replay and it was funny that Nick Rewalt and that they picked up on his attitude very quickly and were like, something's going to happen here. And next minute it did.
Yeah.
Look, well, all credit to Jordan Butts for keeping him at bay, and, you know, he did a fantastic
well.
job. In fact, I think Butts is having one of the best years he's had at the Crows.
Creating a selection dilemma.
He really is,
with
and
Nick Murray.
And good on him. Like, you know, obviously a lot of people would rather see Nick Murray, but, you know, I think it's very hard for them to take Butts out of the team at this point. Like, he's really playing his role, and he did a great job of that on the weekend. Now, Razor Ray was on 360 the other night, and he did show a few clips where he thought that Tom Lynch should have had a couple of frees from arm interference. But I say to you, Razor, there's a reason why you're retired.
Exactly.
Thank
you.
I'd say you could look at any key forward and go, yeah, there was probably a few extra free
Exactly.
kicks there. So.
But, you know, the difference between Tom and the Crows was that the Crows kept their head, and they even kept their head after he tried to deck Jordan
Yes.
Butts. So,
Yeah.
that was shocking. Shocking display of behaviour. I don't know why you would even consider like swinging your arm like that, whether your fist is open or closed.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
Have they officially accepted, or are they?
They are not appealing. They have
not appealing.
accepted the
Okay.
5 weeks, and
That's good.
I think that's probably a good idea because he might have gotten more.
Have they made a better effort at apologising? Because the effort by Tom and the coach after the game wasn't
He's getting all
ideal.
the kudos. He's apologised to his teammates.
Yeah.
Not to anything about the person he
Well,
just hit.
apparently he went up to Jordan Butts after
Oh,
the game
yeah.
and said, you know, you owned me in the game, but you
It was
know,
a pretty
still
strong,
not
pretty
an
strong
apology.
defence is I anatomically can't bend this finger, so I couldn't have possibly. I couldn't have
think that
possibly
would have
got him
hurt
with
more.
a fist. I couldn't have got him with a fist because my finger doesn't.
I feel
bend.
like that's a better argument for if you're getting done for flipping the bird.
I reckon so. not so much whether your whole arm just tried to deck someone.
But how's Adam Uze having to defend Tom Lynch and Noel Bolter in the same year?
It was
he hasn't done a very good job at either of those, to be honest.
just the way he goes. Oh no, there's no excuse for that. But I can certainly understand why he did it.
Yeah, it's so pathetic.
I'm gonna
Like,
just
I
use
understand
it.
backing up your players, but
Yeah, there's a
far
way
out.
to do that though. That doesn't mean you're condoning that
No.
kind of
Well,
stuff. You don't have to chuck him under the bus.
Yeah.
No one expects that.
The main story after the game was Richmond seeks clarification on free kicks for Tom Lynch.
Yeah, and there's Riley Thilthorpe is held so often, and so is Darcy Fogarty. Actually, it's just a thing that key forwards have to deal with, and they very rarely get called holding frees.
Yeah,
It's
and
just part of the game.
And if you want to think of a player who can't bend his fingers, it's Riley Thilthorpe.
Yeah, well, that's right. That's
right.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It just must be part of the Richmond tall forward job description to be a ging sook.
You can
yeah, I know.
Violet's not listening now.
Yeah.
Violet's gone to
Thank you. No, I always got fucked off with Richo. Then it's Rewalt. Then it's Lynch. I'm over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty annoying.
Lizzie brought up the red card debate again.
Oh yeah.
How do we? My problem with that is
Just
it's like-
drag the coach needs to drag him
Yeah.
at that point.
It's
They don't even need a red
It's pretty
card.
rare that it's as black and white as this incident.
Yeah,
That's true.
right. And like, who makes the decision? You wouldn't want to trust the umpires giving out red cards, would you? So it's
No.
That was
Yeah.
insufficient intent to not kill somebody.
yeah, that's right.
It is crazy to me that he wasn't taken off the ground though after that, just to at least have a sit down, chat and chill out. Get your head together, because
And-
it just kept going.
And the old Fox Footy commentary was, coming up with every reason why it was, he's been scragged, he's been triple teamed. It's as if it was like, oh, fair enough.
Yeah, that's the game.
And it's a whole different story if Jordan's concussed. It's a whole different story
Well,
if he doesn't get back up after that.
Exactly.
Well, how many weeks does he get if he actually concussed him?
He would have been 8 to 9.
Yeah, has to be.
So he's
And
very
what happens
lucky.
in the game? What would that create? I feel like there was a bit of back and forth, but yeah, I think things would go off the rails if that had happened. And Jordan Butts has been concussed before, so
Yeah. It's just it's just so dangerous. And in 2025, no, people don't tolerate that kind of shit now. And after the Bolter thing, come on, mate, have a think about
and
it.
particularly from a player who has no real reason to feel disgruntled at this part of his career. He's pretty much given the captaincy at Gold Coast so that he wouldn't go. Then he decided, I'll still go and get myself into a premiership team to get another couple premierships. And now they're not doing so well, and he acts like even more of a brat. He's acting the way that he could get away with it when Richmond were going really well, because they had all the hype, they had all the narrative. You can't get away with that when you're second to bottom on the ladder. So
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, we do have a contribution for a dog act this week. So if you want to hit the button. Dog act. All right, this one comes straight to you. It came mid-game from one Dan 80. Thank you, Dan, for your contribution. Now I'm going to try and do this. I've been sick and I keep coughing, so let's see how we go. When your career's almost dead and you can't stop seeing red, so you punch butts in the head. Dog act.
Nice. You got there.
I did get there without spluttering.
Sorry, a little side note as well. We wonder why Gold Coast haven't been more successful. They've had captaincies of Tom Lynch and Stephen May.
Yeah.
I didn't know that Stephen May was the captain there.
Really,
That's
really know how to
hilarious.
pick them, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, the thug captains.
Chris brought up another interesting point from the game too, the rash sub.
Yeah.
Bit weird, I thought.
It was
bit
more
unnecessary.
of a management sort of thing.
Yeah, I think
Did they explain it afterwards though?
Yeah, he did.
Oh,
yeah.
did he?
Yes,
been,
Nick's in the
he'd been
presser.
sore, and it was more of a management thing.
Yeah, it didn't look like Rash agreed with it though.
Yeah, they showed footage after the game and he was fine.
Yeah.
even at 3/4 time, he was fine, smiling in the huddle and stuff.
I think he's just one of those guys that he obviously wants to be out there.
Yeah.
And the thing is, since 2017, we have not been in a position where we have to think long term.
Yeah.
So I think that's what people have to remember, is that we're actually thinking longer term. We're thinking about September and how players are going to go through that, because we haven't played that long. We literally haven't.
We've been very lucky with who we've been able to sub off this year. So we've managed with Walker, Rankin, Laird, now Rochelle. So all players that within a game they can sort of limit the amount of minutes and keep them relatively fresh.
That's it. And I'd rather pull Rush off the ground in a game versus Richmond than in a game versus Collingwood later on, you know.
It has to be, yeah.
And him be injured. So I think we've just got to chill on the I think I saw a lot of antsy, fiery people about that sub. We were very well ahead. It's all good. And then,
And we got the superstar on too.
Yeah.
So the super sub.
who got some CBAs, which people were not happy with. Again,
I'm not happy with that
But
either.
it was-
again, that's management. That is managing the midfield time
But
for
it's
later on.
It's so unnecessary.
We were 50 points up. Who cares?
No, but I'm talking about this game. I'm talking about this is where we talk long term, isn't it? So wouldn't you want these players that are going to be there long term playing midfield?
Yeah, but we're 50 points up
No,
against
I'm
Richmond.
not talking Richmond. I'm talking wouldn't you want
Experience.
players? Yeah, exactly. Wouldn't you want to put some other players in there that are potentially going to be there when the crunch comes?
Such as who?
Well,
All the people that were already in the
you could
CBAs.
have put Michael Annie in there.
Nah, he was good up forward. He was
Yeah,
killing
he was
it.
all right. But well,
I think
don't get me started. I think there's plenty of other options
within the
there.
team. There probably wasn't a lot of other. I mean, you probably could find some, but it's probably more.
Rochelle should be playing more midfield.
It could, yeah. Well, Rochelle, he's tough when he's subbed out, but
Well, that's what I mean. I wouldn't have done that either.
well, we don't know how this
We-
general soreness, how much.
I think people forget that it's the high performance team that are really making those sub
I
decisions.
hate him.
Jesus.
No, I hate Burns more. Don't worry. It's not.
But yeah, I mean, there's obviously a lot of attention to the fact that Murphy's in the team. If I was making decisions, my preference would be someone like if Pedler's out, get a Zach Taylor in.
Well, Zach
or
had
someone.
a
He
fantastic
kicked 4
sample
goals,
game, so
But,
likelihood is he comes in.
If I was also coaching the team, I'd probably just play players who would play golf with me. So,
Like Rob.
well, hole in one, Rob. I've got to get some. I was probably thinking more Fogarty, but sure.
Probably. Yeah, there were the hip soreness thing. Actually, that was Matthew Nick said soreness in the presser, but there was a bit of goss going around. Apparently, someone games with Luke Nankervis on PS5, and he told them that it's a hip thing, carrying a hip thing.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's some goss for you.
Gotta
Anyway,
get on some PS5 games and get the goss.
yeah, I've got to start playing Fortnite.
Can I
See that for our 40s,
Can
did
I
we?
connect up my Super Nintendo sometime?
Maybe, who knows? Anyway, I wouldn't stress too much about any of those things. I think later on in the year it's going to serve us well.
I agree.
Let's get on with some votes, shall we?
We don't have.
We don't have a stinger for that. No. Kate, let's have your votes for the Tigers game.
I struggled with the votes in that it was hard to just decide which way to go with it. Apart from saying 3 to Curtin, he just had such a complete game. He had 8 marks, 2 goals, 5 tackles, 81% efficiency, intercepts, goal assists, meters gained. He ran all day. I think he was in the top 5 of pretty much every stat I looked at. And so definitely 3 to Dan. Love that you've committed to us, mate. We're very excited about the future, thanks to you. I went 2 for Dawson. It's interesting. I struggled with this one just because I didn't notice it as much at the time, but looking again at his stats, I felt like he had a fairly complete game. And if he'd got that one goal or something like that, I think, or if he was just slightly more efficient, I wouldn't have questioned it. So 2 to Dawson. And then for my 1 vote, I know Ben's not going to let me give 2 different players a half vote, so I'm good.
You're damn straight.
Look at them.
So I'll go Filthy, but that's pretty stiff on Miller, who was my other potential. But yeah,
He's
I guess
a special mention.
Yeah, he is a very special mention, along with Max and Woos and such. So yeah, obviously the 5 goals and just finishing things off when he had the most opportunities out of our big men, and some of his work through the centre in some runs of play and such were really good too. So yeah, I think he gets my 1 vote.
Excellent. I've got some votes from Dan. He's got 3 for Curtin, 2 for Dawson, and 1 for Riley Thilthorpe. And Nuz has 3 for Curtin, 2 for Dawson, and 1 for Jordan Butts. Sam.
I went 3 for Curtin, 2 to Filthy, and 1 for Michael Annie.
Excellent.
Dawson was great. I'm not disagreeing, but
Sure.
I just want more. No.
I gave 3 to Curtin, 2 to Maxi, and 1 to Riley Thilthorpe. Special mention to Millera and Worrell. I actually felt bad not putting them in the votes because I thought they were very good defensively. Ben, who have you got over there?
Just quickly, you guys have, that was the most rapid I've seen. I've had experience with your vote giving there. I didn't really get time to hear yours, Sam.
Let's do this on air, Ben. Good idea. Curtin, Filthy, and Michael Annie.
It would have been a lot quicker if you'd just done it instead of complain about it. But sure. I went with Curtin. I gave 2 to Worrell. I just thought the way he kept putting himself in dangerous positions with an angry man coming at him
Very
was very
impressive.
impressive. And 1 to Thilthorpe for 5 goals. You know how I am, Sam. If someone kicks 5 goals, I've got to give him a vote.
Give him a vote. Yeah,
they
that's
do.
right.
Yeah, it was warranted.
Hi, I'm Tyson Edwards.
You're such a quiet achiever.
I've given the Tyson Edwards Quiet Achiever to Jordan Butts this week. He just quietly went about it and apparently didn't crack a smile afterwards, even when they all told him he did a great job. And he also, he took that punch to the head pretty well. So he gets my Tyson Edwards Quiet Achiever this week. Sam, who you got?
Worrell.
Yep.
He was great.
Warranted.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, again, I was torn. Shout out to Bez, but I'm going to give it to Butsy as well. Yeah, and especially given that he's been out of the team and he's just been, chipping away and getting himself into better and better form every game. And now it's going to be pretty hard to get him back out. So, yeah, I'll give it to Butsy.
Fantastic. Ben, who you got?
Butts as well.
Excellent. And Dan's gone James Peatling. Out of left field.
Did Dan watch the game? No, he was all right.
No, he was
He
fine.
was quiet.
Yeah.
Definitely quiet. Yeah. Dan, if you're watching.
What an idiot.
Like, what?
That's fine, Dan.
But's not even in there. Like, Mac's not even in there?
Yeah, Vardy said Worrell, Hinge and Wayne, Quiet Achiever, Young Bean, Hinge was good. Yeah, there was so many that you could put in there, certainly on that Quiet Achiever. All that the back line were not that they were under a ton of pressure, let's be honest, but only the pressure from Lynch's fist. Yeah.
Nuz had one?
He did.
He didn't pop that in there, no, sorry.
Okay.
So
He never
might
does
have
that.
to
I
get
thought he did.
Oh, did he?
No, I didn't know. I had a
Okay,
look,
I could
but
be
it's
wrong.
not there. But I'm sure he will give us his Quiet Achiever this week, later in the week when he releases his own podcast. So stay tuned for that. That will be coming out hopefully Friday. The Nuzman is back. Okay.
Can't wait.
What are we doing now?
Should we do a Serenity? Because it sort of probably flows on well from what we've just had.
Perfect.
Go for
Lovely.
it.
We need to make you a stinger,
We need
Kate.
we need
you
a
don't.
stinger and a slide. We don't have anything.
Don't worry about any of that. Okay, yes. So even though we won on the weekend, I thought that some sections of the community might still need some serenity. So welcome,
No doubt about it.
welcome to Serenity Now with Kate. This is an exercise for releasing strong emotions. To begin, close your eyes or soften your gaze, taking a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Bring to mind a situation in which you recently felt a strong emotion. Perhaps you were feeling deeply disappointed that as both a player and a team, your best is behind you and your glory days are over. Instead, now you find yourself in the twilight of your career, playing a role for the team instead of the other way around. Imagine that disappointment boiling over into frustration as, on top of all this hardship, you are not protected by the umpires as you rightly deserve. Notice the frustration building in your body, your heart racing and your muscles tensing as your primal urge to fight to survive, which is as ancient as your genetically close Neanderthal ancestors, takes over. And just as they would have done, you club your threat in the head. Notice as the frustration immediately drains out of your body, replaced by the inner peace that comes from knowing you will soon be poolside in Bali, safe from no-name defenders who have no right bettering you and who don't lose their mind even after they get coward punched in their workplace. Now open your eyes and repeat our Jordan Butts-inspired mantra, we stay calm as one.
Well done, Kate.
Nice.
Fantastic.
How good.
Excellent. Well, that is this week, and we'll be previewing the game against Melbourne for Sunday. Let's get into Sam's segment.
If you want to know what's in the spring, get into Rowan Jarman.
Couple of good things. One small one, Premier League going to Stan. I know everyone who's on Optus is
Matt hates it.
very annoyed.
He thinks
but-
Stan sucks.
Well, yeah, but it might. But at least we'll get Premier League in some good quality for once. Like the quality of the Optus was just shocking. So Stan's got 4K quality. So any games that are recorded in 4K, we should actually get them in 4K, which will be nice.
No, he thinks it takes too long for them to come up on Stan and the highlights and the mini games and stuff.
Oh,
He doesn't like that.
Okay, well, I
aspect
don't
of
know.
it.
I've never had Stan from a sport. Well, like I know
You
about
know the Europe League?
No. So that's interesting to know, and I back down on that because
Well,
I don't know. But Optus
hopefully they
seems
improve
shocking.
it.
Yeah. So anyway, just a little mini one. I know everyone who's got Optus and got the Premier League cheap is very annoyed right now. But
Yeah.
yeah. And do you want to do a quick one? Do you want to go a quick one?
I don't know if this is on your list, but Daddy Nick's on Footy Classified
It wasn't.
in the bye week. I enjoyed that thoroughly.
Right.
Well, he looked amazing in a suit. And also, like, he was just so cool, calm and collected. He really, like, he's media trained, like, fuck. Like, he was really good and, you know, gave us good insight into, like, how we're playing and, you know, the three tools and all of that kind of stuff. And, yeah, I thought it was pretty valuable.
I haven't actually watched it, to be honest. So
What? Oh, you got to get onto it. It was good.
I saw bits, but not the whole thing. Yeah.
No, it was great. I loved it. Ben, did you watch it?
did that the
anyone watch
studio
it?
lights off his head?
I saw highlights, but that's about it.
No, it was good. And
But boy, was he looking delicious though.
wow, he looked good. Yeah. Well, that was it.
That was it?
Yeah.
But the best thing that happened this week is Dan's cousin kicking the winning goal on the siren for Yankalilla to be in Counter Bay.
What's
Great
Dan's
Southern.
cousin's name?
Bailey.
Bailey?
Gaskin.
Bailey
Same
Gaskin.
last night. See, do you know what? I asked Dan what his cousin's last name was, and he laughed at me. And I'm like, it's not necessarily Gaskin. It turns out it is, but it's not. Yeah. So anyway, that was fantastic.
Were you there? You were there live?
No, I wasn't actually. I was in Renmark, so I couldn't watch it. But yeah, I've been to a few games this year now, and officially a sponsor now.
Oh,
And,
awesome.
getting right into it. But
I thought you were sponsoring the podcast.
I am that too. Yeah, just got so much money to throw around.
Southern
Lauren,
Signs,
you know.
everyone.
Yeah. That is legit, that sponsorship too. That is me.
That's great.
But it is, I am paying some money to get on there. So
Yeah, good.
if anyone else wants to do it, they can
Yeah,
too.
do you need to sign?
Yeah.
Sam's your man.
Well, that's it, that too. But if anyone else wants to sponsor us too, we'll put your logo in there. Ben thought he was just going to get a freebie look on his. It just doesn't happen, does it?
When are you going to make us a Here We Crow sign for the
Oh,
back of
yeah.
the...
Well, Dad's been banging on about that for ages that we need something behind us to
Yeah.
put up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I might get onto that.
Make us a banner or something.
I think we needed like a proper neon sign or something.
Ooh, neon signs. I didn't know you were
Maybe.
into neon
Oh,
signs.
no, we're not. Oh, no.
Are you saying
I'll get that done on Temu.
even fancier than the on-air sign?
Yeah, the Here We Crow bit broke off. Yeah, unfortunately.
That's a shame.
Yeah, so anyway, was that, yeah.
Cool.
Footwear sacrificed at half price and equipment slashed to half price. Rowan Jarman's huge half price sale. Don't miss it.
Does anyone get the raffle calls?
I have in the
Yeah,
past.
we've talked about this.
From the Crows, you mean?
Yeah, they're so persistent too. The first time I was like, look, just send me a message. If I'm interested, I'll call you back. He called me back again. I'm just like, is this about the raffles? And he's like, yep. And I'm like, look, I can't do it now. And then he called me again, literally the next
What?
day.
No.
And I'm just like, mate,
You-
stop it.
You had to say no.
I was just like, nah, do not call me. I do not give a shit. I give the club enough money. Why? Like, I don't want to be harassed with this shit. Like, it's not
Look,
good.
the Crows Foundation are relentless.
Yeah.
Which
They need to dial it back.
I actually needed to block their number.
Yeah.
God.
I'm happy to contribute every now and again,
Yeah, me too.
but I don't want multiple calls. But I don't think that was even the Crows Foundation, was it? It was like a different thing.
Yeah, it was on behalf of, I can't remember what it was now.
I mean, the prizes were pretty good.
yeah.
When the lady rang me and she ruled off all the prizes and it was like, go into the rooms and if they win, you get to go down and
rattled
into
off
the
all these
rooms and,
things.
sing the song and yada yada. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like, yeah. And then she said the tickets were $100 and I was like, yeah, I can't afford that. We're in a cost of living crisis. As much as I'd love to do all those things.
Home lottery for that the same price.
That's
so
it.
yeah.
But like they need to dial it back. Like they're obviously targeting us. They're obviously calling us because we're sponsors. But to be so relentless after, it's not like we're just a name on a database. Like we pay money to be there. Like they shouldn't. I just don't feel like it should be so invasive.
Yeah.
But,
Well, I think you just need to be a clearer no the first time round next time.
true. And Nathan's right. TME Sports, that's who's running it. Yeah. So God knows where the money goes.
Yeah, what the
and
hell's TME
happens.
Sports?
Yeah.
So that's even like, okay, so you're giving the data to another company and then like we're getting harassed.
Yeah.
Not sure, and people love that.
No, they don't.
Makes me wonder why there's not a round every year where they do a fundraiser for the Crows Foundation or something if you're at the game, like a bit more of, like they've done for other things in the past.
Yeah. I'm open to I just don't want to be targeted.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the
right.
thing. Quirky's agreeing in the chat, and Red Lion said, I just said I was broke. I mean, it's true, but also it worked.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I pretty
there.
much did say, I was like, look, well, she offered me a payment scheme. And
Yeah, because
I
it was $100.
Yeah, and I was like, nah, I don't want to do that either.
No.
Like, I don't want to be tied to that.
Do you want
No.
to afterpay your raffle?
Yeah. Look, love the club,
Wow.
but can't be doing that. But,
Yeah.
having said that, if you were like, you can opt in to donate like $50 as part of your membership, like I'd be happy to
That's
do that.
different, yeah.
Like if it was like a $50 donation to the foundation, like I'd be more inclined to do that.
They should do that. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for
There
sure.
you go,
Yeah.
Crows. Have a listen. Hope
Maybe.
you're listening.
A few free ideas.
And Daniel, appreciate the new name in the chat, but just shut up. We're not talking to Ben about his fantasy team. So anyway. Anyway, shut up, Ben.
Appreciate the shout out. That's a very valid question.
So the nickname Bids for Chelbo that the club uses, don't like it. It's Chelbo.
Well, that's her name.
I don't care. Chelbo is a much better nickname than Bids, in my opinion.
Well, she's got two nicknames.
yeah, you can have more than one
I
nickname.
think Chelbo's more like a family and friends nickname, and Bids is
And
the
top fans.
top
Yeah,
fans.
okay, that's fair.
obviously.
Golden North not being made in Laura anymore. They're moving-
yeah, I heard that today.
moving
Oh, they're expanding though.
No, well, they're just moving. Yeah,
Yeah.
expanding, but it's like a kind of a big thing in Laura. It's like the only thing in Laura.
Well, Laura better sort something else out then, I
As
guess.
I was saying to Sam pre-pod, I did a placement at Golden North Ice Cream.
Yeah, he was a chief ice cream maker for a week.
Was this before the physiotherapy?
It's just
Or?
part of my physiotherapy course. So
It was not.
I have absolutely no reason to lie about this.
Tell us more. How does that
I
work?
can't connect those dots.
No, well, it was an OH&S process placement.
okay.
So we were looking specifically at, they'd had a string of, I don't know if this, they're moving anyway, who cares? The string of shoulder injuries related to people on the 2 litre buckets for filling, because those ones you have to more rapidly change over. And their filling, you may not realise this was done by hand. Every bucket was filled by hand, and then they have to quickly swap in a new bucket, get rid of the other one, straight in.
Yeah.
While looking down and moving this relatively heavy thing. So
Yeah, that's hard.
That does sound hard.
End of
Hope
the
they're getting
end
paid
of the
well.
placement, they said just bring a couple of eskies, fill whatever you can.
Wow.
Oh, sick.
And
Wait, so you just put the esky on the machine and just hand
Well,
filled it, or?
that was generally the pre-packaged products. But, and in the lunchroom, it was just the freezer was just chock full of giant twins and whatever, and you just help yourself throughout the week. So,
Fuck, that sounds all right.
yeah, how
Don't
about
mind a
that?
giant twin.
But I'm boycotting them now. No
Boycotting?
good. No, I don't care anymore.
Where are they going?
Murray Bridge.
Oh.
So it's still in SA, I guess.
Yeah.
But still.
They need to
But they don't
increase
have to
their
do buckets.
production. That's why they're moving. I don't think
Yeah.
that's a main reason to
I don't like
more
it.
boycott.
jobs.
Now I'm boycotting. I don't really eat
I was
Golden
going to
North
say,
anyway.
how much business are they losing, Sam?
More of a
I miss
connoisseur.
Dairy
Yeah.
Bell.
Dairy Bell.
Yeah.
Isn't that American?
No, there's a Australian Dairy Bell, but it's
Oh.
only in Victoria now. And they used to
Okay.
have this. We talked about it before.
Oh,
nuts about chocolate.
Nuts about, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Miss it. Yeah.
I'm a connoisseur when it's half price anyway. It's so
Yes.
expensive now.
Yes.
Quirky said they've sacked a whole town. Now it's just my mate's brewery.
Oh,
that's
there you go.
Little bless. I think that's Little Blessings, isn't it, Quirky?
Can maybe the brewery can move into the Golden North production
Well,
factory?
they've just moved into this really nice looking church. I think it's that brewery. If it's that brewery, anyway. I haven't been there, but it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, Quirky said you can't boycott Golden North. It's crazy.
Nathan said he's kind of partial towards the giant twin.
Yeah, who isn't? There's so many good flavors. Honey, coffee.
Yeah, true.
Yum.
All right. Yeah, it was that. But the worst thing, how shit are the games at the moment? Does anyone just found themselves just tuning out of football
I
for a
haven't
bit?
watched. I have not watched.
They spent the first 10 rounds just putting in blockbuster after blockbuster to try and get the crowd numbers up and the viewership numbers up. And we've just been treated to absolute garbage over the buys, I reckon.
Yeah.
And the buys don't help because
No.
it just feels like we lose all momentum. But some of the
Yeah, how long
games
do
have
they
just
go
been
for?
shit.
Yeah.
We've had 10 weeks of buys this year.
So bad.
Yeah.
And isn't this round top 9 v bottom 9 now
Yeah, it
as
is.
well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did watch the Port and Carlton game. That's the
Yeah.
only game I've watched over the last couple of weeks, I reckon.
I watched that game just wanting one team to get flogged. I actually didn't care who it was.
Yeah, it was pretty entertaining in that respect. It was just annoying that Port were the one that were beating Carlton
Yeah.
so badly.
Yeah. But seeing Carlton implode has been pretty funny. Losing to North and then
Like,
Port.
well, I said in the chat, like their drop off is monumental.
Yeah, it
like,
is.
how bad is it?
Because they've got
Very.
their top liners are really, really good, and their fans must be so annoyed.
Well,
Yes.
So
yeah,
frustrating.
they are.
Yes.
I don't know if you've been tuning into Dan Does Footy podcast.
Yes.
Oh yeah, well yeah.
Yes,
he is
exactly.
a wreck.
Yep.
That was
That was
mine.
it?
That was it. Yeah, I'm done. Unless anyone else has a bad.
I have a bad. I think this is a bad. I'd be interested to. Is like people who leave their Christmas lights up or just all year now.
Oh,
Who's doing that?
There's a couple of people I drive past.
do you want to give out addresses?
No,
What? They're turned on.
they're on all the time. They're not very good ones. Like they're the lazy kind, where it's like. And I don't do any, so
Do
who
they
am I
leave
to
them
talk?
on?
But
Like lights are on.
well, that's exactly right. Yeah, they're not just up; they're on. Like
Yeah,
they're
wow.
on. So yeah, I feel like that just defeats the
I
purpose.
think there's a chance if you came to past our house.
Are you kidding,
Is that
Ben?
right, Ben?
we might have just put up a strand of just the cheap solar LEDs. That it's just one strand along the gutter line, and we just never got around to taking them
Well,
down.
you're in the bads, Ben.
Yeah, sorry, Ben.
And we're never outside when it's dark. So
Did you put them up specifically for Christmas?
I can't remember when they went up.
Okay.
Quirky said he's got
There's-
3 on his street too.
Yeah, look, there was this house down the road from me on Hawker Street in Bowden, and it was on a corner of Hawker Street and another street, and these people had these coloured lights up for ages, like forever, like year round. And I was like, why? Like, they're not even good. They're ugly. I get it. And then finally the house went up for sale, and I was like, oh, these fucking lights are going to come down. And the new buyers did not take them down for ages. I was like, what is going on? Take them down. They're finally down.
If when it comes to Christmas, Ben, would you put more up?
Always think about it, but never get to it.
Right, because I feel like if you're doing that all year, you've got to then put other ones out for Christmas and take them down.
Yeah, make it worth your while.
Yeah.
We're very.
I'm
You're,
just a Grinch.
you're building to a extravaganza of Christmas
Exactly.
lights.
Yes,
Yeah, I
it's
get
like-
it. Yeah.
But these are like your solar ones, so you don't turn them on or off. They just do what they do. So no, they're
Everyone, your neighbours looking at you like
free-range
fucking
lights.
freaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nathan said a house across the road has lights on a tree out the front makes telling whether Uber needs to stop handy.
Can see that. Maybe decorating one garden feature. Maybe that's okay.
Lizzie, Cheesecake Shop still has reindeer on their shelf. They never clean.
That is
Yeah, right.
even worse.
Lizzie also put in a bad too, but a potential good for the person, bad just in general, is Justine's captain of Port.
Yes, I did see that and did congratulate Justine because we do love Mulesy. She is
Yeah.
a friend of
No,
the pod,
Judas.
ex-friend of the pod.
Ex.
But, you know,
Ex
but-
and current Judas.
yeah, but, you know, good for her. I'm
Yeah,
happy
that's good.
for her.
Yeah. Yeah. All
right.
Is that it? We done talking
Yeah.
about Christmas lights now?
I think
Sorry,
so.
yes.
I think-
in July.
I think just going back to a previous point, I think I've been very, very restrained with any mention of anything
Oh, no.
to do
So,
with
yeah,
our
well, see,
fantasy
you're bringing
league.
it up now, Ben. So, no.
So-
that's not happening.
Ben, honestly,
this is our-
my team's gone to shit.
Well, this is just a
My
very,
name's Tim, the Wonder Dog.
very quick post-buy update. This
Yes.
is like mid-season. I've done
Let
nothing.
him do it. Let
Just
him
do
do it.
your rank and hurry up.
No, it's got
Where,
nothing to do
where
with
are
my
you on the
Oh,
ladder,
my
Ben?
Lord,
no
Who
one
are you
cares, Ben.
beating?
It's a lot quicker if you don't complain. So
Okay, Dad.
I am coming first, but I don't know why Sam's
Weird.
I don't know
That's
why
crazy.
Sam's
Oh,
so worried.
wow.
You're coming fourth somehow.
I haven't looked at the league.
Really?
You are. You've got enough wins. Your total score doesn't suggest where you are where you should be, but you are coming fourth. Jake, who helps us out here, is coming second.
Well, I beat him once, so
Yep.
let's not forget.
Dan.
He won't forget that.
Dan,
the worst week.
Dan's just out of the 8. He's coming 9th.
You don't need to
of
say
20.
where mine is.
Okay, and you're somewhere below Dan. So,
Yeah, quite below Dan. I think
but yes,
might be last.
as Sam said, I'm not going to dwell on it, but this is the best season I've had in my.
Can you tell
Where are
everyone
you
your
ranked?
rank and just get it?
Yeah, where are
get
you
on with
ranked,
it?
Ben?
At the moment, 329.
329. Are you in hat territory yet?
Well, you need to get to 100. I feel like I'm in a good place, but we'll see. I just haven't moved for about 3 weeks. I just keep being within about 30 positions of where I am.
Right. And
But
like,
we're
how are
post-
your trades going to work out this week?
Post buy, I'm going to bring in Caldwell, and I'm going to possibly try someone that feels a bit wrong, but in Brian Myers.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's
Up
I
against-
brought him in.
Up
yeah.
against Richmond.
Yeah,
So-
okay.
Yes.
I brought him in and took him out.
So, yes.
Young Bean's fallen asleep, so we need to move on.
Lucky it's the one time this season.
Parking,
Look,
your
we-
parking lot says no wonder he has no time to take his bloody Xmas lights down.
He's concentrating hard.
My research is all done on the very long commute.
Chris is asking, is Bozza alive? X is boring as shit without him taking on the AFL world. And it's true, but Bozza is alive and well.
We've got selection, so he's definitely alive.
Yes. Look, Bozza's having a break from Twitter or X. So don't worry. I'm sure he'll be back in grand form once September rolls
Yeah,
around.
no doubt.
He is fine. All right. Well, what are we doing now?
I don't know. What is next?
I guess we'll preview the game.
Yeah.
Coming.
Do we have social media? Do we have any social we got a Dirk. You need to do it because you are the expert Dirk reader, apparently.
Well, did we get something?
Yeah, he sent it through. Yeah. Oh, and there was a couple that responded to your story too. We probably should do them.
Yeah, this is basically one attacking me because I've been defending Lockie Murphy.
Oh, yeah, I've seen him attacking you on
yeah,
Twitter.
Because I just think the Lockie Murphy hate's just over the top.
Agreed.
I understand that people don't like the selection, but there's reasons for the selection. Maybe we don't know what they are. Look, it's okay. Like, we can cope. I'm sure that other players are going to get a look in, and I've heard I think it was on Gettable, that Hugh Bond, Zach Taylor, they're all getting contracts. So don't stress people. Lockie Murphy will be out the door at some point.
Yeah, when it gets to the point that like a Victorian podcast like Dan Does Footy, we're having this whole conversation about, what's he done? Like they were like,
Exactly.
we've missed something here.
Yeah.
And it's very embarrassing as a Crow supporter to listen and go, yeah, no, he's not done anything. Like,
I think
nothing
the vitriol
personally.
is really unwarranted. But, I like I said, I understand that people are unhappy with the selection.
Of course.
But I'm just one of those people that's just like, there must be reasons around this, and I'm just going to give them the benefit of the doubt.
I've
Because
tuned out of social media.
It's
just
probably
the
a
last
good
few
thing,
months.
yeah.
I don't see it anymore. Like I don't want Murphy there, but I haven't seen any of the not saying it's not there, but like I just haven't seen any of the actual hate and stuff. I'm presumed it was there when I saw his name.
I think I'm just more like, the bloke hasn't really done anything wrong. He's not the ideal player, but he's getting put in there for reasons. And, sometimes you just have to deal with it. Like, we haven't played worse with him or without him. Like, it's just one of those things. And,
It's not make or breaking our results.
I think we're just biding our time with the Samful guys. And, they do say that the level between Samful and AFL is quite significant, like the jump. And I think that's why, I think at this point, we're just going to go with experience. Now, I'm sure Nuz's podcast this week is going to have a lot to say about it. and probably disagree with me. So definitely jump on that if you think I'm an asshole fuckwit and I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway.
Is that where we cue Dirk?
Let's go to Dirky's DMs. I'm actually terrified of this. All right. Welcome back, winners. Just a little Dirky's drive-by, not targeted at anyone in particular, but I hope Lauren and Lockie had a wonderful bye round. Have a sook, you said. It's 1 week, you said. We don't need a running commentary on the sub. You may be mentioned. Well, it's true. I didn't need a running commentary on the sub, Dirk, because he was the sub. Wrong and wronger. Nix is doing what he always does. One sniff of finals and job security and it's back the old boys in. Well, yeah, Dirk, that makes sense. Really disappointing and a sign that we haven't come as far as we'd like to think. We're third. In fact, I'd be happier to wind the clock back and pick Jimmy Rowe and the Nedless Chook over 4. Well, we can't do that. We're third on the ladder. We're supposedly settling the team or finding out fast what we've got. I don't think we're here because of Laird or Crouch or Smithers or Jones, but I feel like all of those names offer something moving forward. I feel like calling ice because Murphy's papers are surely stamped. Oh, no. Lovely bloke. So be lovely in a park league, but please not on the most hallowed park in SA. Oh, come on, mate. You don't need to be like that. He's literally the sub. Brant down. Quick, Ben's backyard too. I have some muddy patches of lawn where I park my car that I can't get dry and won't grow back. I've put down some dichondra seeds. Thoughts? Is it a viable solution? They were pricey too, so hopefully he gets 2 green thumbs up. P.S. Can I get a birthday shout for tomorrow? I know. One I won't forget, right? Happy birthday, Dirk. Even though you've just attacked me in the DM and poor Lockie Murphy, happy birthday to you. Ben, do you have anything to say on that?
Don't park your car on the lawn, Dirk.
I cringe when I hear I parked my car on a wet lawn because it's wet. It'll sink in further. It'll completely compact and ruin your soil structure. So,
Not the soil structure.
do you know how important soil structure is?
Well, I do now,
is
going by your face.
critical.
No idea.
Very serious. Suddenly got very serious, hasn't he? Look at him.
Look, I don't give a shit about Murphy, but soil structure. Dichondra I think is normally used as a bit of an option if you've got a shady area. It'll grow.
Shady like under a car.
Well, not compressed under a car shady, but I'd be trying to aerate that area and try and alleviate some of that compaction that you've created by driving the car on there.
Yeah, well, there you go, Dirk.
So,
alleviate the compaction.
Yep, I think
which
that's
is
the most important thing.
Actually, pretty solid advice because you're talking a lot of shit. There's compacted shit coming out.
You should seek your doctor if
Exactly.
Oh, look, there's another Crows podcast starting.
There is, yeah.
Crows Nation.
Got another rival. Let's go, boys.
They got 15.2 thousand followers on Instagram. Did they buy them?
I think they have started as a repost Crows content site and have now turned into a podcast. So that's probably the way we should have gone about it.
They look pretty cute in cartoon form, don't they? Good luck. Hopefully.
Yeah, good luck, guys.
Goes all right.
Good luck beating us in the ratings.
No, I won't be
Just
hard.
kidding. Oh dear. All right, and we actually got something from Matt Samet Saxman, who Crows Nation following us. Let's go. Where is it? Lauren needs 10 minutes uninterrupted golf about Tom Lynch. Well, we had our time. I didn't want to take over the airwaves. And Bozza, danger game. Lose 1 or 2 now, drop it out of the 8. Ugh. Do we though? I don't know if we do drop out of the 8.
Well, I don't know about the 8, but it is a lot tighter than you'd imagine. I would have thought. I was surprised when I looked and we've got the same wins as Fremantle.
Yeah.
And Fremantle's had such an up and down year, despite, obviously some big predictions earlier in the year for Fremantle. But, so we do need to stick to this ethos that they've got about just taking each game as it comes as opposed to start thinking about how good his final's going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
It's definitely going to be interesting.
We're third, but we're not entrenched.
No.
Our percentage is definitely going to help.
Yeah,
It's
though.
effectively an extra win, our percentage. At
Yeah,
the moment,
for sure.
So,
Yeah.
Which is really good. And it also shows, I think percentage in the past has been quite a good indicator of how good your team is going. So you've had teams in the past, I think even Port had a pretty poor percentage last year, but they finished second. But you could tell that they had enough wins, but they weren't really travelling as well as you would have thought. So for a team that finished second.
Look, I think if there's a couple of good upsets, say the Pies or, someone like Fremantle or Brisbane, and, Brisbane haven't been amazing, or even Geelong, that really holds us in good stead if there just happens to be one of those upsets. And, our run home is not too bad. I feel like we can probably take the Suns. I don't mind if we lose against the Pies again, but if we beat them in the finals, that would be ideal. I don't know. We've got some pretty easy games coming up. I think the showdown's going to be a ripper.
Yes.
Yeah, well,
That will be their grand final.
If you were redoing how I do my old win-loss 50-50s, there's none that I'm penciling down as a loss.
Yeah.
There might be some 50-50 games, but there's none that I don't think we've got a good chance of winning. Even the Bulldogs are a bit up and down. They're not – they feel like a team that's doing better than what they are, the Bulldogs, which is a bit of a strange one.
Yeah.
Would you rather us beat some of these teams that we struggle against? Because if you look through the 8, we're obviously we don't have a great record against the current top 8. Would you rather we beat them? Do you think it would be better for the Crows' chances long term to beat some of them in the lead up, or go in as supreme underdogs if we have to meet them in the finals?
I'm pretty desperate to beat Collingwood eventually. I really would like to get over the line there.
I feel like we need a couple of. I know we beat Brisbane. Yeah, that was a great win. I think we need a couple of wins.
I'd like to make a statement against Gold Coast because I think we really should have won that game earlier in the year.
Yeah, same. And I think we need to beat Hawks at home.
Yes.
I feel like we need to beat one of like the Bulldogs or Collingwood as well in the lead up. I feel like one of those games needs to go our way.
The only thing is if we do beat Collingwood in the lead up to finals, which is our home game, everyone's just going to go, oh, well, they were playing at home. Like, it's going to be one of those like, oh.
But Collingwood plays well here.
They do.
'Cause we haven't
But
lost to them.
we've had very close games against Collingwood, and our last loss against them, we played kind of shit and we only lost by 10 points.
We play well against them.
Yes.
We just never beat them.
Yes.
I think, again, like, I said a couple of weeks ago when we, back after the Brisbane game, like, there's still quite a bit of footy to go before we get to that point. And I just think, like, as the weeks go on, our confidence and skill and the cohesiveness of the group is just going to keep continuing to grow. And, once we're at that prime time, it's going to be definitely different for the squad because we haven't played finals before. But, if we can take that confidence in, why can't we? Why can't we beat them?
I think too the injury situation, we've still been incredibly lucky, and
Very
that
lucky.
might continue and it might not. And I feel like last year we probably underperformed because of injuries from where we were at, I reckon, last year. And this year I feel like perhaps we're slightly overperforming because we've had good luck with injuries. So I do feel like, that's going to we can hope that continues in a good direction. But I think we've got way more depth than we've had. But I do think that's probably part of why we're just hitting that kind of top 4 quite, consistently at the moment. And I would hope that would continue. But yeah, I think that's been part of it.
I know people think it's a bit of a curse, but I think the positivity from the media is like, it's legit. Like they're
Agree.
all looking at us thinking we could be Smokies for a premiership. And, why not?
Well,
Why not?
if you just look at stats, we're doing a lot of the things that you need to do. So,
Yes.
like good defence, good attack. It's like, that's
Well, we're up there in that premiership window with Collingwood, so
but it is
I hate it, but
I know.
but it is a fine line. As I said, we're on the same wins as Freo, and they're like 7th or something, aren't they? So we can't relax yet. We're not entrenched. We need to still do a fair bit of good work to get into the potential of a top 4 double chance.
There's a big gap between 9th and 10th, though, isn't there? There's a big gap somewhere.
Oh, you'd be pretty devo if you didn't make the top 8.
Yeah.
Because there's some pretty bad teams although, is it GWS in 9th?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think they won 2 of 3 over the last 3 weeks and dropped out of the 8 somehow. It's a weird year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are going to have Matteo from 1%ers on hopefully next week to get more in depth about where we're at and where we've come from the start of the season and how his predictions have rolled through. Vardy's just put in here, Fog, 1 goal in our last 13 quarters, discuss. Not great for my bet that I've got of Darcy Fogarty winning the Coleman and Jordan Dawson winning the Brownlow.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm not that concerned about it because I feel like he's playing a role that's allowing the other forwards to get goals.
Fog not kicking goals when we're winning is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's when we're losing and there's the forward line's looking atrocious.
Well, it's a problem if we're not finding other avenues to goal.
Yeah,
That's
it's-
it.
Yeah,
I think, the beauty of it is that when Fogg's got it in his hands, you can pretty much guarantee he's going to kick it. Like it's an 85% chance he's getting it in. So,
yeah.
it is getting and I mean, I'm not, I don't pay enough attention to see the defenders that he's copying in every game, but he must be picking up some pretty good defenders.
I'm not going down Kane Corns' path here of hating on our forward line, but I like that we are trying something different to a lot of other clubs with the three big players. I still think there is a lot of work that we could do with our forward line. I'm not smart enough to know exactly what that is, but I think the last 3 or 4 weeks have shown that some tweaks or some backup plans are a must if we're going to be a good side later in the year.
Max Marklani, is he one of those?
Well, yeah, potentially. And
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's
Curtin.
why they tried it because, how many times have we, been sitting in games over the last 3 weeks and just going like, what are we doing? Like we're dominating it feels like we're dominating the game, but we can't score.
So, Matt, if we're like playing Geelong in the finals, is Max the kind of guy that goes on a guy like Tom Stewart?
Well, absolutely. And I think we need those options. Like I think that's what turns us from just predictable and boring to like we've got options if things aren't working.
Yeah.
And that's fantastic. That's what we need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More of that would be good to see.
Suddenly Nix is a super coach.
It's
Well,
Malcolm Blighty.
Heard he loves him, thinks he's coach of the year.
I have a question. I'm interested what you guys think because I debate this in my own head is do we want a quick success and like ultimate success even if it's just a one-off for a bit, or would it be better to have sustained success and always be around the mark like the Geelongs of the world tend to be? Like I think back to whenever it was 2016 or something when the Bulldogs won and they kind of got there, from 8th or something and were it was, a lot went their way at the right time of the year and they won it. And we could, easily do something like that, I think. But, then they've kind of been hovering around and not quite getting there in the, 9 years since. So, I definitely think I've always envied the Geelongs and I guess until this year Sydney's who've been able to always be around the mark and, always if they're not quite getting there, they're definitely always in the conversation. So
It's a really good question. And I think the only way I would accept being consistent as my option is if there was the promise of one. Like I would never give up one premiership to be consistent.
Yeah.
Like I would take the Bulldogs over
Totally.
us
Yeah.
any day.
but
from
those
what they've
teams
done.
that have been consistent like that do tend to win
Yeah.
more than one.
But I'd want to see it and that's the thing is when did Geelong win 2 years ago? And they were top 4 for how long before they managed to make that work?
Yeah.
That was, and it was almost looking like Scott was never going to win his premiership other than the first one that he had.
Same for Brisbane. There was big questions on whether Fagan can actually win a
Yeah,
premiership
exactly.
and then they finally get theirs. So
Yeah.
I feel like we've got a similar build where it's not a flash in the pan build. This has been coming for a long time.
Yes.
We've got
Yeah.
players who've been developing and turning into a solid full team. So
But if you said win the premiership this year and then we were shit again over
Another 20 years.
I just don't think that's actually going to happen because
No.
2023 our window cracked open and was slammed shut by a shit umpiring call. And
will we win the premiership that year?
I've said the window was cracked open. I didn't say it was open. We cracked open the window and, that was a year that maybe we could have gotten pretty far in the finals and then I don't think we would have gotten the premiership that year.
I don't think there'll be too many
But-
clubs who want to play us in the finals.
Yes.
No, I don't think so. And we're, in terms of our player list right now, we're in that kind of sweet spot where all those young guys are now, around 50 games and they've like matured in their game. Matthew Nicks goes on about our cohesive unit, and we can see that. We saw that on the weekend. It is a cohesive, united group, and that's what's going to take us further. I think if we don't, we're obviously going to be playing finals this year. Well, I say obviously, but maybe not, but I think we will
Most
be.
likely.
But I don't see how we can kind of slip from here, because we've got that kind of thing that we were missing last year. We've kind of made it happen this year. I don't see that we could. I just don't feel like we could slip too far down.
Well, there's not a lot of reports of flight risks and things like that. It looks like everyone wants to be a part of what we're doing. So.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm pretty
Exciting.
positive about it. So,
Yeah.
I think we will be kind of contending for a few years from here.
I think we can. But I think what Kate's question was like, would you take flash in the pan, win a premiership and then be shit
Well, I guess
over the consistency?
Yeah, I guess what I mean by that is like I think it could kind of prematurely kind of satiate the hunger.
Yeah.
And that if I feel like there's I would it's then hard, as we've seen before, to kind of like help drive that, I think, higher. And I'm not sure the Crows they've definitely been able to contend in finals a lot, but I don't think there's ever been a group that's really kind of, built from the ground up together and then stayed together and had a lot of success. And I'd if I was given a guaranteed choice of like, we can do that and there will be kind of a good, strong period of time where you're just, always in the mix and have the chance over like one quick rise and then it kind of all falls apart again. Anyway, just something I think about.
To me, it feels like a more sustainable culture comparing to when we were good in 2017, where it didn't take much for us to start pointing fingers and we need to do all these drastic measures to make sure we're tougher mentally and all this sort of gear.
Yeah.
I can't imagine a poor finals result then we suddenly start losing our nerve and try and change everything. I feel like the
hunger would be there, wouldn't it?
Yeah, the hunger would be there, and I think we're on a more deliberate path this time with everyone working together as opposed to maybe a few more individuals like we used to have in 17.
Yeah,
I agree. I think I had that moment watching the replay where I was watching them at like one of the breaks and the cuddle and it was the first time for a long time I've been like, wow, this group could really do it. Like, I can really see it, can see this group having that kind of success. So, it's
the more they like that, the more they want it,
And it would also make sense that we were a bit of a splintered group after some of the trauma that they went through going into that grand final. This has been one that's just built up from the ground up and everyone's buying in. It's not the same sort of just having everything smashed at you.
You can say what you like about Matthew Nicks. You might be a Nicks out kind of person, but there's no denying that he has built the culture and the culture is working for us at this point. So got to be happy with that.
You can't deny that. No.
Yeah.
Vardy said he just wants to see another flag before he dies.
Yeah, me too.
Don't we all? Yeah.
I mean, the time is ticking.
Just one as an adult would be great.
Yeah.
Going back to also Vardy talking about Fogg being a bit down, the other player I think who's below his best at the moment and has been for a while is probably Rankin. He's
absolutely.
lacking a bit of spark.
He was giving me the shits on the weekend, honestly. I was like, mate, what are you doing? That kick out on the full was just like, oh my God, come on, mate. But he did make up for it quite quickly after that. But he's like, it just didn't, I don't know if he's carrying something because he just didn't really seem to want to get into that contested ball, which, that's where his magic is. And, he kind of just like hovering around the ball. I'm like you got to tackle, you got to get in there. Like, I don't know.
So hopefully it's something you can get over and start peaking come finals time. But at the moment, it certainly feels like a part of our team that could be better, which if he starts playing to his full potential, that's a massive up for our team.
David King's all over it.
Season.
Kingy's all over it.
Well, Kingy loves him.
Yeah, but he's not happy with him right now.
No.
Anyway,
you reminded me too, Ben, just when you were reflecting on like the pre-2017 that tomorrow is 10 years since Phil Walsh passed away. So that feels like it was yesterday to me, and I just wanted to acknowledge that actually, and the fact that there are still players playing for our team who were there at that time, I think is really significant, and I think he's always going to have been a part of the club in great ways and in really tough ways. And I'm sure he'll be in the hearts of the players who were coached by him on the weekend. And just thinking of him and his family and loved ones. Yeah,
Absolutely.
For sure. Want to talk about this week?
Yeah, let's do it.
Should we get who's playing?
Yep, let's hear from.
It's like a sauna in here.
Afternoon, people. Round 17 selections from the sauna. We got the Asterix flag at home. Really should tick it off as a win. But might need a little bit of a freshen up. If Rochelle's still sore, give him a rest. Smith, Cromania out. Nankervis and Ryan to debut, and Bond back in for Cozzy Pickett.
Oh, yeah.
Watching the SANFL on the weekend, he impressed me. Very tidy by foot, solid defender as well. But just time to give these guys a go, especially after the Berry move into the permanent midfield. Just got to have faith in them and stop playing the shopkeeper. I reckon free up Saligo and Dawson this week too, and play Rankin as a permanent forward unless required in emergency. That's about it, guys. Don't forget Phil Walsh, 10 years tomorrow. So, pretty shit. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks, Boz.
Thank you,
Boz.
Bozza. I've just noticed that Sam's changed the TA hotel logo to the southern side.
Oh no, it changes. It flicks.
Oh, it doesn't flick.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
I was like, you're not even sponsoring us.
Sponsoring.
Well, just by being present.
No, I'll pay for this.
Were you too busy doing that and not doing a stinger, or?
What?
No, they did the stinger.
No, I just zoned out then.
Well, Bozza's singer. No, we did Bozza's.
It
We forgot
happened.
yours. But yours isn't on here. I double checked. I don't know where it's gone. I thought it was on here, but
I think it's there somewhere, I think. But Ben, give us the lowdown of how we're going to go against Melbourne.
I ran out of, not enthusiasm, but momentum to get too far into this. But my possible ins and outs, I reckon that Murphy is probably making way for either a Pedler or a Taylor, I think. Whether that's in the sub role or just that small forward, if they don't see Michael Annie needing to play that role again. So,
I really would like to see Taylor come back.
well, he kicked 4, I think, on the weekend.
Yeah.
And I've really liked Taylor. He's like a mini Saligo. So
Yeah.
be my preference to have in the team. Melbourne themselves, they're 14th, 5 wins, 10 losses. So they've beaten Sydney, Freo, Richmond, West Coast, Brisbane. So I rate the Brisbane win. Maybe the Freo, but that was when they were going pretty poorly. 10 losses, too many to write up for that. But, they can. The Brisbane win, I think that was up in Brisbane as well, wasn't it? So it shows that if they turn up and play to their best, they're still dangerous.
Yeah.
So we can't just assume that it's all going to go our way.
Yeah.
I haven't really gone into the stats, but I think the real key part of them is just the form of Gawn, like how much he breaks down teams trying to get to attack. If we just bomb it down the line anywhere near Gawn, good as, I don't want to get over the top, but as solid as Rob has been, Jesus,
Improve.
I don't think trying to see how he goes against Gawn is going to be our winning tactic.
Yeah.
So
No.
maybe we'll get a similar sort of thing where we can chip it around a bit like we did against Richmond and work our way through that way, and then Gawn doesn't really get a chance to get in the way. Then we'll go fine. I mean, they've still got players like Petrarca who can do all sorts. Cozzy Pickett's been winning games by himself sometimes. So there's I think they're not a massive team of heaps of really good players, but they've got a couple of players that can really turn games. So we just got to make sure we don't let any of them get on top of us.
Yeah.
So I reckon
their forward line's just a disaster. Like,
Yeah.
If our backline can't have an amazing game this week, there's something wrong, I would have thought.
Yeah, barring Pickett. So,
Well, yeah. Well, that's I sort of mean like their taller forward line,
Yeah.
I guess, because it was Bailey Fritsch and then whoever else they want to put next to him.
Yeah.
Whereas they got Pickett, Petrarca if he plays some forward time, of course, but yeah, they're not kicking a winning score against us, I don't think.
You'd hope not. So we should win, but it's not impossible that they actually turn up and work out how to play. So
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
we
Yes.
haven't beaten them recently much at all. So
Right.
I think I was hearing it's basically that win where we were in the pocket,
Yeah.
that 1 point
Yeah.
win. So other than that, we've barely gotten near them. So recent form is poor, but our recent form was never quite as good as what we're playing at the moment.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Well, don't forget we did beat them in their undefeated year, so
Yeah.
That's true.
it's all good. All right,
Yeah.
we'll win.
Yep.
Got anything else to say about that?
Armfield.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
One, Sam. You're sponsoring the show and
It's
doing
always
your job.
Ben's things that are the most annoying.
Oh, I think this was a you and Ben thing.
Right behind him, and the Carlton fans are right behind him. Once, twice, 3 times.
Oh, look at that.
Yes! He's the master blaster.
I'll tell you what, every week it's like it's the first week you've been doing this. For me, I think you mentioned him before, a player who in the past has been really handy forward for them in Fritsch. He's been in and out of the team. Who knows? If it all goes right, he can get rid of these goal-kicking yips, kick straight. He can be a damaging forward. It's just we can't let that happen. We can't let that Dennis happen.
I
We can't let that happen.
I just feel like he just won't perform against the form of our backline. I just don't see it.
Who's the matchup on him?
Fritsch.
Keane or Worrell?
Well, how many talls do they got other than?
But he's not even that tall, is he?
No,
Would we
but
play?
he plays as a tall. He's a leading forward as
Yeah.
opposed to a small forward. So he takes marks and.
Does Michaelani go back on him?
I don't know. Well,
So you wouldn't put butts on him. He's too slow.
is Michaelani going to be stuck on Pickett as a player or something?
Yeah, maybe.
So I don't know. It could be. I mean, yeah, probably butts would go to whoever else they've got as a big person.
Is McDonald playing? I don't even know
I
who's
don't
playing. I don't know.
Yeah, don't know. Maybe it's a Worrell or.
Chris Mills says Ed Langdon Curtin matchup going to be interesting. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well, Langdon, he's been doing a bit of tagging work as well.
He has.
So whether
Okay.
he'll just chase Dawson around the place,
Yeah, he
or
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
whether they put more attention still into Rankin, I don't know.
Vardy said
What they'll do.
who does Butts take? Oh yeah, Worrell. Worrell probably will go to Fritsch, I guess, won't he? Then who does Butts take? I'd be like, I don't know. If we don't have the matchups, do they drop one?
Yeah, I haven't really been keeping a close eye on the Melbourne forward line. I really,
No.
yeah.
Because unless you're playing like that slower, taller forward, I don't see who Butts sits on. Because they certainly don't have a dominating key forward.
No.
No.
Where's Ben Brown?
Because was it Van Ruin has been in and out of the team as well.
I think they've suddenly realised that he's not that much chop.
Yeah. So did he play last week, but he's out injured, or is it the other way around that he might be coming back in?
I don't think he played last week, did he? I didn't hear his name. I listened to that game on the radio.
That doesn't mean he wasn't playing.
Just doing a bit of research on the fly here.
Yeah.
I wish I
Hey,
was,
Joshy.
wish I was quicker.
Sure, we mentioned while Ben's looking this up.
Melksham. Is he?
Oh, Melksham. He's small. He kicked a bunch of goals last week. Didn't he kick like 5 goals, 6 or something?
Yeah.
There is the household name of Matthew Jefferson.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Jeffers.
Jeffers, as he's known.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Melksham, surely. Obviously, Melksham is a key.
he's a bit of an
nominee.
armfield option. Yeah.
I can't believe was it 5 goals, 6?
5 or 6,
It's
yeah.
amazing. It's like it's 11 shots a goal.
And he only had 16 kicks.
It's crazy.
So, it doesn't look like Van Ruin is in last week, so he might have been someone who did well in the VFL or something.
Yeah.
Might come back. I think Paddy was out concussed, so
Yeah, he was.
that'll bring Lever back into the team.
Yeah.
Is this
Yay.
is this going to be a midfield game where they might beat us in the midfield? Because they do have Clayton, Tracker.
Clayton's been terrible.
Clayton's not the
Been
Clayton
relatively
of old.
average, yeah.
don't know. You'd hope that we'd at least break even midfield-wise. I mean, Petrarca is very dangerous, but I don't know. He doesn't have a team playing with him that are really supporting. Like last think from the game, they said in the first quarter, everyone's saying that Melbourne are just turning into, if it's okay to say, rabble.
I was going to say a rabble.
Don't say the R word.
Yeah, sorry. So, which is funny, like a back line, when we've got someone like a Stephen May lifting everybody up, you'd think everyone would be getting along just fine. So
Exactly.
don't know. It's
It's a mystery.
they do seem, as we talked about culture, I don't know if Melbourne's what we want to be looking at as what we want to
A
achieve.
good example.
No.
Yeah.
No, I agree
Very
with that.
true. Well, I don't know. I reckon we'll probably win it.
You going?
Yeah. Hell yeah, it's been ages. Haven't been to a game since the Brisbane
It's
game.
been a big break, hasn't it?
And it's going to be wet and rainy again.
And it's going to be
Huzzah.
a Sunday
raining.
afternoon.
And a
for
Sunday
change.
graveyard.
Favourite time.
I'm not going. I wasn't going anyway, but now that it's raining, I'm definitely not going.
Yeah, it's a shitty time slot. And we don't have many good time slots left this year.
No.
In fact, most of our games are Sunday
Yeah,
afternoon.
if only we'd shown something in the first half of the year
Yeah.
to indicate
If
that
only.
maybe better time slots is what we deserved.
Carlton all the way.
Well,
Yeah.
Carlton were in that
Essendon.
flying form. Essendon has shown so much. Got to give them a lot of Thursdays and Fridays. So, yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I think we win. I think we win by 6 goals.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, I think we'll win by a bit.
It's one of those
Agree.
games, isn't it, that if we don't win, I'll be pretty down on us again.
Yeah.
When I did some ladder predictions, I actually gave this as a bogey game a loss. And we still were in like the top 6.
Oh, I'm sure. Like, it doesn't mean we're done. It'll just push me towards being a little bit more down on us again.
I think for me,
Gee, that doesn't take much, does it?
It doesn't.
it would be like the Hawthorn game. It was very, very annoying.
Yeah.
But it's not the end of the season.
But we should be.
right.
If we're any good, we should be beating Melbourne at home.
I was going to say,
absolutely.
yeah, it's
100%.
The Hawthorn loss, considering how Hawthorn can play and in Tassie, was a bit more understandable than this would be.
Well, the Hawthorn was so annoying because we outplayed them like
Yeah.
no one's business in the first half and couldn't get it done.
Forward line
Yeah.
was atrocious. Yeah.
That's
we were
it.
going to talk about that. It was the game we shall not mention.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Vardy did make a good point though. Saxman Matt undefeated. We haven't lost when he's opened a game, so
It's been a while. Is he going to be rusty?
he might be.
Look, I will
Get on
tell
the
you that
practice.
he does not like this pressure. He is hating the fact that people
sure he
keep bringing this
does.
up because I feel like he thinks the weight is on his shoulders. But Matt, it's not.
It's definitely
You'll be
not,
all
Matt.
right.
And is he lifting from the pyrotechnics? Can we? Is there something more that he
I
can
mean-
bring to this thing?
Look, I don't know. Like,
Oh yeah. What happened to the pre-game? The special that we got the goss on? That didn't happen, did it?
no, it didn't. And I was pretty disappointed because, I was talking it up to people,
Yeah.
quite quietly. Like,
We weren't supposed to tell anyone, but I was nudging before the game.
well,
It's like, watch out for this.
I invited my friend Laura, who doesn't really go to football, but she couldn't make it. She was sick. So I invited my other mate, Jamie, who I used to go to the footy with a lot. And his son, Percy, came along. And, Ben and I, we all sat together and I was talking up this pre-game. I was like, oh, this is going to be a pretty good pre-game. And then it was just like, oh, well, Matt's got fireworks coming out of the sacks. That's, but, it was pretty shit weather. So maybe they were like, nah.
Sister Steph, sister of
I
Matt.
was just going to ask, is that
Sister, my good friend Steph has said Matt's been practicing hard in prep for this weekend. That's the thing. I think the thing about Matt is that if he loses, it won't be because of preparation. If we lose, it won't be because of his preparation.
That's right.
Hi, Steph.
No, I'm sure it'll be fine. It'll be fine. He'll claim the record.
Yeah.
All right. What are you tipping?
Oh, yeah, I'm tipping us. I think, given that I've, fessed up to my trauma and always doubting, I'm going to go in confident this week.
Yep.
I reckon we'll win. I reckon we'll, win by a bit. I really think that the thing that will lose us any games this year now is going to be inaccuracy. So I'd like to see us take a few more of our early opportunities. But yeah, I think we can match up on them well. I don't think if we're on our game, they'll be able to match us. So I think we're going to do it.
Yeah, and accuracy we were doing really well at the start of the year. So I don't know if we're taking tougher chances or
Maybe.
we've just a bit off of form. But yeah, accuracy makes a massive difference. So
Yeah.
I'll see Sam's 6 goals. I'll go with 7-goal win.
Shit. I'm going to go 9 goals to blow you guys out of the water. No, I reckon we should, like someone said in the chat, we should bury them. I think it was Chris.
Yeah.
We
He's
should
right.
bury them.
He's absolutely
Yeah.
right. If we're any good, we should be winning this game.
Well,
Absolutely.
you just think our attack stacks up, our defence stacks up, their attack
They're a
doesn't
bit of
stack
a,
up,
they're
so-
just all over the place at the moment.
And, yeah, and when levers getting dropped, you know something's a bit amiss
That's it.
over there. So
I miss.
Well, it'd be a good reunion.
Place of Freo, mate.
that's
Anyway, can't wait.
Your argument has merit. Place for Essendon.
Can't wait.
Quick, cut it now.
Let's wrap it up. Can't wait to get back into some regular footy. Look, it feels pretty good right now. We are third on the ladder, so let's just enjoy this time, people. Let's not be too negative and self-conscious about how we're going. We're third on the ladder, and that is a long way from 15th.
Yeah, I think you can
I
be
know.
realistic that we have not won anything yet, but you can still enjoy the fact that it's a lot better than it has been in previous years.
We have gone through some really shitty times, and that really starts with Phil Walsh,
Absolutely.
which was 10 years ago. And and then obviously everything that came after that. But we've all stuck fat, and look at us now. We've got to enjoy these moments. So
Yes.
don't forget that, people. I really want to stress that. We really do have to enjoy when it's good.
We could be Carlton.
That's right. And thank God we're not. All right. Well, we will see you next week, and hopefully we'll have Mateo on the line. Also, don't forget, Sensible Crow will be releasing a podcast this week, so keep your eyes out for that. It will be up later in the week. Anyway, enjoy the game, everyone. Can't wait to talk to you again, hopefully after a smashing.
Whee!
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.